class I think that the last chapter I am going to deal with that. So after that if anything is left out like unions, I will also take up that. So before I move on to structures and unions, so actually I not covered so one thing in array. So I mean the dealing with the function. So functions chapter I did. So most of the things, how to declare a function, and then how to define a function, and then how to call a function, then what happens when you call, how the control is returned back to the calling function, all such things we have learned, and then how to pass the actual parameters and then received by formal parameters in a user defined function, and then whether it is going to return a value back or not. So it all depends on the communication between the calling function and the called function. And later we discussed something about the library function. So how to make use of library function, whether it is printf, scanf, like IO functions, which is normally defined in stdio.h, or probably the mat related functions like mat.h. So and then console input output function like console input output. And later we moved on to the preprocessor directives. Last class we discussed about preprocessor directive, but I remember that I did not teach you one thing, that is passing an array so to a function. So normally the actual parameters and the formal parameters are actually transacting only with the normal values. It can be integer, it can be character, like that. But how to pass an array? Can we pass an array for a function, as a function? Okay, I mean to a function. So it is also possible to pass an array. So what I do is I will simply show you one small program related to that. Then I hope we move on to the next chapter, that is structures, right. Here main is already defined over here. So now inside that what I do is I will declare an array called x. Okay, so it is an array, so I have to put the square bracket. So inside that, so let me put 5 numbers, I mean 5 elements can be stored into that. So instead of reading, what I do is I will simply initialize these 5 values separated by commas. So let it be as simple as that, and then it should be always any declaration along with the initialization. We know that it can be done like that. So we should also take care of the number of elements in that. It always should be the whatever the maximum elements you can store within that, it should be there, but it should never cross the number of elements. And then what I need is let me declare as and when I mean we require any variable. So right now there is an array variable which can hold 5 numbers here. So let me compile. So it is okay in here, right. What I do is I will go back, and then I will what I am doing here. So I am actually calling a function called array. So I have to pass what is called as x. Simply you can put x, or even you can put these square brackets like this. So I am passing so an array x, so which holds 1 2 3 4 5 as the elements. Okay. So when I pass this somewhere outside, of course you can always declare it as void array x, and data type is int, etc. etc. Still probably this may work most likely it will work. So we will not going to work, we will do the thing. So this array is done then it will do by another what is this that we have to declare? Is the formal parameter. So the entire elements, number of elements 1 2 3 4 5, so will be copied to y of 1 2 3 4 5 like that. So that means these numbers will be copied into y location in the memory. So now how to access that? So for that we need what is called as an counter. So to access the location, So y of I, y of where I can be 0, 1, 2, 3 like that. We know that the first element happens to be at 0 position. So and then we need to have a loop, or you can even initialize here itself that is 0. Okay. And then we can use a loop. Okay. What is that loop? So where I is equal to 0 already we have declared. So initialization need not repeat here once again. So and then I should be less than 5, that is 0 to 4 elements, and then I plus plus. So increment by 1. So for all these things what I have to do is I have to simply print the array. So how to print the array? So printf and then double quote %d. So let me give a gap of say 4 spaces, I mean 4 locations, 4 character space. That means the number allocated gap between one element and another element is 4. So out of which the number always will be right justified. That's how it works. So anyway, delete. Okay, so we will delete this and come back and then shift double quote comma, and then of course we have to put what is called as y. We are actually dealing with array y, and then each element can be accessed by, so its subscript variable or subscript value, whatever it you tell. Okay, so that's it. So that means whenever this array is being called, so automatically the control will be returned to array y, and then it is, you know that it is integer. So inside that user defined function we are trying to print the values. So here I put get ch, right. So let me compile this, right. You can see that the output is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So exactly. So if you look at here, so I did not make any much modifications this program. I will repeat once again. So x is an array of integers, 5 numbers, clear screen which will clear, and here I am actually making a call. So and this function call takes the control out of the main, and it is defined over here, which is actually received by the y array. So again having 5 elements, and then I am initializing and I am trying to print over here. So this is how you can actually pass an array. So and then pass an array to a function, and very easy to handle that. Once you know if you know the basics of functions, it will become very easy. So what it can handle, what it can pass, finally the data type returned and the data type it can handle. If you keep these two things in mind, and then there are 3 important things. You know that before you call it must be declared, and once you call there must be a definition, which happens always it should be outside the main. That is what we have to take care of while dealing with the functions. So now what I do is we will move on to a different domain, so chapter, so in C itself. So that is called as structures. Okay, you know that we just now dealt with array as well as functions. These are 2 wonderful tools the C programming language has provided, but there are other lethal weapons, or what you call the Brahmastras, etc. C is very good, though it is very small. It has got wonderful tools, that mechanisms by which you can handle most of the data type. So one can understand how C can be used to write or probably to develop the Unix operating system itself. So all of you know that in the history, so at Bell Labs somewhere in 1970 range, so the C was developed just because they wanted to develop a Unix operating system. So because of that the origin or the birth of the C took place, and you can imagine the most of the computers, right from the microcomputer to supercomputer, it is always all systems are based in Unix operating system. So and they are very powerful. Even now the Linux variants like Android is ruling the mobile world. So that is why So this kind of operating system development, if it can be done with a program, a small programming language like C, so you can imagine the capacity of the C language. So another that kind of such kind of the nature of the C we are going to learn here today, that is called as structures. So there are always shortcomings of any topic. For example, array. So we know that array can actually handle number of elements. So that means a variable is always can store only one value. But if you want to store more than one value, it can be 5, it can be 50, it can be 500, or it can be 500, or even 5000. So that is actually that problem has been solved by array. So what it cannot be done by a normal variable can be done with an array variable. Suppose you want to store 100 numbers of 100 marks of students in a class, we can store using an array. Similarly, names also can be stored if it is a character variable, character array variable. But there is a limitation for even array. What is that limitation? Suppose you want an variable wherein different data types you want to store. That means a record. For example, there may be a student, so student roll number or student register number or the name of the student and the marks of different subjects what he has scored probably in the examination. All such things will actually belong to a particular student, or it can be even employee, or it can be some other data, so sports personalities, etc., etc. So what is their game, and then from what year they started, how many titles they have won, and then how much money they have won. All such things you want to store in a record, as a record. So then there are several such players. Then it is obvious it is nothing but a database. So how to deal with the database? Structure is the solution. So structure actually groups different data types into a single entity. That is one container. So in one container, just like for example a geometry box, there are a lot of geometry tools available. So there will be a compass, there will be a scale, there will be a eraser, there will be a pencil, etc., etc. within a geometry box. So geometry box is nothing but one structure. It actually is an entity which combines different tool sets, but belonging to a particular domain. So all these things can be utilized in achieving something. So I think structure in C is a heterogeneous user-defined data type. It's very similar to record. Earlier we used to have Fortran or Pascal, etc. So a record in a Pascal program will be similar to a structure. So in case of C. So how to declare the structure? Struct is the keyword which we have to take care of that. So what I do is I am not going to type program here. Only for your understanding, so I will explain this thing. Struct. So it should be structure. So not complete structure, it is struct. Struct is the keyword. So we provide lot of keywords, 32 plus keywords to deal with the language. So the structure is one of such keywords. It actually allows you to define the structure. So structure, as you know, that is an entity. But always it should be followed by the name or the identifier or tag, whatever you call, it will be okay. It's the name of the structure. What is the name of the structure? For example, say the student. So student is the variable, not the variable name, it's the name of the structure. Okay, or it can be structure tag. It is better called as structure tag or simply tag. Whenever I say tag, it is the name of the structure. So it will have a body of its own. Okay, so this body just like a function. Okay, so within this body, so we can declare different variables. So that means different data types of variables can be grouped together. That is why these variables can also be said to be what are called as members. Members are identifiers. We also call them as identifiers. For example, it can be the name of the student. So then name always you know that it's a character array. So you can say that name, character name, and then it can go up to 25, etc. Okay, then probably you want to store his age. So say age, or you want to store his number, roll number, roll. so that means it can be a number, or you want to store a percentage of marks, so it can be float, say marks. So like this. So what you are doing here, you are actually combining the different data types. So name, the roll number, the marks, etc., etc. These are all different data types. So you can store all these different data types in a structure called student. So student is the name of the structure here. What we are at the end of that. So at the end of the body, you have to put a semicolon. That takes you to the end. So this is only a structure we are defining. We are not yet defined any variable related to that. So this will not. So that means whenever the variable is not there, so no memory allocation is done for this kind of declaration. This is only how to declare a structure. So what I do is I will write over here. So this is nothing but declaring a variable. What kind of variable? Structure variable. This is structure variable. Okay. So now how to define using this structure, declaring the structure, not a variable, sorry. This is defining the structure, declaring the structure. So after declaring the structure, you can have your own variables. That variable can be here itself. For example, say student 1 and then student 2, student 3. Here itself we can put after the brace. So that means S1, S2, S3 are two variables which can contain this character int and float. So different data types, and then name, roll and then marks are the variables. So only then, so S1, S2, S3, so is three different students having same name, different name and different roll number and different marks. So then when it is being declared like this, then only it will allocate the memory. Otherwise it will not, compiler will never allocate memory. So what I do is, there is another way of doing this, say achieving the same thing. What is that? So we have to use this struct. So we have to use this struct. So that is the keyword. And then what is the name of the structure we are using here? It is student. And then with this, so we can declare a variable called S1. So this is also possible, because what basically S1 consists of, these the name, roll, marks having character int and then float. So this is another way where structure is keyword and student is name of the structure, and S1 is the variable of the student data type. That is the type, the student type. So that means actually that is why it is called type def. So that means we can actually define our own type. So we are defining the student data type. If somebody asks, I want employee data type, so then it can be, instead of student it can be employee, or you want sports person, so you can say sports. So or you want for example in a graphics you need points, so number of points, there can be different points, so then you can say structure points, so all points can be defined. So it means these are the different type definition what we are making using one keyword called the structure. So how to access, or for example I want to access, so in S1 there are three different variables, name, roll, marks, etc. So then how to access that? For example, I want to access same marks or probably the roll number. So then while reading from this keyboard, we know that always we use scanf, so for reading anything from the keyboard. So then depending upon the type of the data we are going to read, so if it is in integer, it should be only %d, and then we want to access, we want to put this roll number, say for example roll. So where it is actually, roll is actually the member of the structure which is having a name called student. So student is the structure and its member is roll, so separated by a dot. So and then of course you have to put that with the prefix with the ampersand symbol. So what do you mean by this? That means actually we are accessing the member through its structure name. So this is how you can access any member and to store any value into members. So it's now actually if you run, so it will be able to read something. Anyway, I am not writing, this is not the part of the program. Anyway, at the end of this all these the basic requirements, so then definitely I am going to write one program which is probably the part of your lab programs. So that the one of the program which you normally deal with, I am going to execute that, write and execute that. So suppose if you want to store 10 numbers, 10 students values, then automatically you can declare this as an array, say S1 10. So that means this is a group. S1 now is not a single variable. Okay, so having 3 different members, instead of that it's an array variable like this. So we can even deal with array of structures. So all the array values can be passed on to the structure. This is so wonderful. Just all the basics will definitely enable you to achieve this structure. Then there are some certain rules for declaring the individual members. So what is that? The structure members can be of any data type. It can be character, it can be name, it can be it can be integer, it can be float, or it can be even a pointer. It can be even a pointer. For example, it can be an integer pointer like this, say p, or it can be even another structure variable like this, structure employee like this. That means structure can be inside the structure. So that is what we do. For example, you know that there will be in reality there will be a lot of buildings. So if there is a huge building and there will be each building will have a floor, and each floor will have a lot of big departments or the houses. It can be anything, and each house will be subdivided into a lot of other rooms. So that is how the structure is subdivided. Similarly, here also it can be one structure can contain another structure, and that structure can contain a number of different data types, so including a structure. And one thing, so all names must be unique. For example, so here, so I cannot repeat name over anywhere, so or marks over anywhere. That means every variable name, so whatever I declare, so should be unique in nature. That means it should not match. So this is very the normal thing when we take care of these kind of rules when we declare a variable. The same rule also applies over here. But the name of the variable over here, for example, name or character name or int role, etc., or float marks, so can be different. It can be same outside the structure. For example, outside the structure you can utilize the same, for example, say int role like this. So this can be one and the same. That means outside the structure it can be same, but inside the structure no name should match each other. And then suppose you want to put a number. For example, I want the roll number as to start with say 100. I cannot do like this. So it is it should be avoidable. You should avoid it, otherwise compiler will pose an error. So these are the some of the things which you have to take care while declaring and no initialization, as you understand. But we can initialize all these things in a different way. So we will see how to do that. So let me move on to how to initialize. What I do is I will retain this name, and then what I do is say number instead of say employee. So EMP number, and then what I do is say salary. Okay, so I have created a structure over here having a name called employee. So name of the employee, I have created an array for that 25 characters, and then number always obviously it should be integer, and then salary also I don't want in decimal places, I want only the whole number, so I am declaring the salary as integer. So then, so instead of student, so I have to name of the structure is employee, EMP, and then I can simply declare as say E1. So that means E1 is the variable, but can I initialize over here? So I can do so outside this. That means I can put is equal to symbol, and then within the braces all these things in the way we have specified inside the structure of the employee. So the first one is name. So that means I can enter a name. For example, say jobs. Okay, and then put a comma. That means each value, each variable, I mean value for a variable, particular variable, should be separated by a comma. And then employee number, say 100, comma. And then salary, also a number, say 50,000 or say 5,000, whatever you want. So 50,000. So that means this is how we can declare a variable where E1 is one of the variable, so which holds a particular set of value for E1. So then you know that individual values are separated by, and at the end of the brace, so you should see that it is terminated by a semicolon. That is very, very important. Now let me utilize this. We have understood so how to declare a structure, and then what can be the members of the structure, and then we should put the semicolon at the end, and then we have created a new structure called employee, and the members of the structure employee is name, employee number, and then salary, and then E1 is the variable created using this different data type. It's defined by the user. So employee is the new data type, so EMP, and E1 is the variable which holds these three values. So in accordance with the declaration what we have done in the structure. So what I do is employee number I have declared, and then name, okay, and the salary, okay, anyway. So and then structure employee E1 I have declared. Instead of initializing, let me create a variable called E1. Now after there are no any declaration, you can simply clear the screen. No more declaration. After declaration, you can use clear screen. Suppose if you try to use clear screen before or in between any declaration, always it will give error. So let me compile this. Okay, so this is not required anyway, so I have to delete all these things. That is not, now it is okay. So declaration is okay, it's wonderful. Now what I do is after declaring the structure, what I do is I will try to input from the keyboard. What I want to input is printf. So enter the name of the employee. So if you run, it says that enter the name of the employee, and it will come back because there is no scanf statement. Now how to read? We know that anything if you want to read from the keyboard always should be scanf. What I want to read is a string of characters, so percentages I am going to use, and then comma. So I have to store wherein I want to store into the name, which is the variable, which is the member, of a structure called EMP. So that means, so we have to access to get into this name, we have to get into employee, and then inside that name is available. So how are you going to indicate? EMP is the name of the structure separated by a dot and then say name. So this is it. So you know that whenever we use percentages, we don't need to prefix with ampersand symbol. So for normal variable we have to do this. So for a character variable we don't need to do this. So we will try to compile. Undefined symbol EMP. Let me see what is happening. E1, sorry. So it is E1. So we know that what is the variable. So variable is E1. Okay. So now it is okay. If I run this, so enter the name of the employee. So you can enter whatever you want. Say jobs. So it will read. So can I able to print this particular name? So I can do so. What I do is I will simply block this and then paste this. Employee is so and so, and then instead of scanf, it is printf, right? Okay. Employee is jobs. Okay, it is fine. I mean, it is working fine. So very similar to this, actually we can handle the remaining data type. So what we do is okay, so let me save this because if something happens, then I have to retype everything. So this is say structure 1. Okay. Now there are two more members of this employee structure, that is employee number and the salary. So those things we have to read from the keyboard, and relevantly we have to put the message on the screen so that user understands and inputs. Okay. So what is the second thing we have to enter? So employee number. Enter employee number, and then you know that the variable is E1, which is employee data type, employee structure type. So and that one is EMP number. So go and see whether the variable is the member is one and the same. EMP number, it is okay. Employee number. Then the next thing is you have to enter the salary. Enter the salary. So when we have this, we have to put that into salary, SALE. So is the name okay? Yes, it is okay. So but what we have to take care of this, when we are reading this number, we have to put the ampersand except the string. So here also it should be D, and it should be D over here, number, and here it is percentage. So normally employee number is the first one. What I do is I will move this to the beginning of the screen, beginning of this output. Okay, so I will save this. Enter the employee number, say 100. I enter 100. Enter the name of the employee. So I enter jobs. Enter the salary. So say 50,000. So anyway, the output there is only one the name which I have written the printf using printf statement. We'll go back and modify that so that the entire output is done. What I do is I have to block this and then copy this twice. Very easy if you understand the editing commands. It becomes very easy to develop any program. So either at the beginning or at the end we can simply put this. Employee number, employee is so and so, employee number is important, employee number you can put %d is. So you want to access something, what is that? So that is E1 dot and then emp number. Okay, and then let me develop one and then do. Okay, employee number is so and so, then printf new line character, either at the beginning or at the end is enough. I think okay. This is not required. Here also I will remove. Employee name is %s, then put slash n, sorry, double quote, comma, E1 is the name and the member is simply name, right? Another printf salary is what is %d, double quote, comma, and we want to access E1 and then its member dot salary. Right, hope this will work fine. I think new line character should be here. Alright, okay, save this and then compile this, then run this. Employee number is 100, enter the name of the employee, say the jobs, enter the salary, say 52,000. Employee number, okay, %d, I have to put a variable over there, so let me go back. C1, so E1 is the name, okay, employee name, everything is okay here until here. Employee number is %d, okay. C1 dot employee number, that is okay. Okay, employee name is %s, okay. This name, okay. Possible use of E1 before definition in the function main. Okay, so you can see that employee number, okay, employee number I am not getting properly. Okay, name is jobs, okay, salary is 25,000. So let me see what is happening over there. So %d, employee number is %. Okay, that is the order. So the order in which I actually changed the order, so order should not be changed over here. That's the mistake over here. It should be the same order. You can see here name is the first one and the employee number is first one, second one, and the salary is this. So it should not get any warning. So now warning is 0. So it is done. And name of the employee is, say, I think, say Gates, and then number is say 120, and the salary is say 45. Okay, now it is varying. Anyway, so this is how we can access the employee number and employee name and employee salary. So with the name of the structure E1 and its members salary, and then name, and then employee number. So as you have seen that how to declare a structure, and with a structure name called employee, and then the its members which are of different data types, I am combining over here, and then I am defining with that structure name as, I mean, even as a variable. I am with that variable we can actually access the memory, and I am trying to access the memory over here, and then read from the keyboard, and then output onto the screen. So whether it is printf or scanf, we can actually simply use this. So I mean, a dot operator is the one which actually facilitates this kind of accessing the members, and we have seen that how to enter the input input data, so into the variable, so which are nothing but which contains some members, so in the variable, so as defined in the structure, and the same can be displayed onto the monitor, so either using any of the output function like printf. So but it can also be an array, so wherein we would like to store, for example, 10 or 15 or 100 or whatever might be the number of the students. So in that case we have to declare any variable, so instead of a single variable, I mean structure variable which holds some other values in it, but declare it as an array, then automatically, so with records, it is like storing the records into the database. For example, if there are 10 students or 20 students, so and different fields, these are the primary fields which are available. So in what are those fields? So fields are defined inside the structure. So I think we will continue in the next class, and we will learn more about the structure data type, so which is provided in C language. So I think it is time up. Now it's a goodbye from Mahadevaya. So see you in the next class. So thank you, and take care.